So my name's Neal Els. I'm based in Port Elizabeth, been tattooing for just under about 10 years now. Studied fine art before tattooing at NMU. My journey through tattooing has always been kind of at a point where you've had to do a bit of everything. So there was, like I said, in PE, people in the day, they didn't really specialize in certain things. So it's hard to say I have one style, but if I had to narrow it down, I would do like semi-realism, like realism / illustration in a way. I like to make things look realistic, but obviously not super realistic, because usually the referencing doesn't really allow for that. People's perception of tattooing is probably my least favorite, because people have this idea that when they page through magazines or on Google Image, looking at different people's tattoos, they're kind of like, oh, I like that and I want that, and it's difficult to kind of in a nice way explain to people, look, you can't have somebody else's tattoo. It's not, it's not cool for the artist to do it. It's not cool for the other person that has the original tattoo to have somebody else walking around with their tattoo. Basically, clients contact you, phone, email, WhatsApp, make an appointment. They'll drop you a mail with some images that they like. And most of the time I'll say to them, listen, this is fairly straightforward, let's just make a booking, come in and we'll sort the artwork on the day. But then sometimes clients come in and they're not 100% sure what they really want, or they're not being very descriptive over the phone or email. Then I'd tell them, rather come book a consult. So then they'll come in for their consult, we'll sit down, introduce each other, chat a bit. You kind of get a bit of a background of who the client is and personality and all that, because that also kind of ties a little bit into the tattoo. Then you'll sit down, you'll put some rough sketches, or you'll look at some referencing. So generally we just look at stuff online. Most of the time clients are fairly open. They've seen the artist's work, or you see my work, and then they kind of go, cool, you know what you're doing, this is just kind of my theme, just run with it. And you go, cool, you get the stock images and stuff, and then what we'll do is on the day of the appointment, then we'll size everything up. I generally try and work with real images, so like if we're doing tiger portraits or stuff like that, or even neo-traditional style or illustrational style, I'll take like a picture of a real tiger and I'll just simplify it. Generally either before the time or on the day, just kind of simplify it, because I've gotten so used to now just putting stuff together on the day of the tattoo. It minimizes time, and you also kind of give the client a unique piece, because you're not working from somebody else's tattoo or anything. So then we'll just put the stencil down, stick it to the skin, give that some time to dry. I often go have a cigarette because I like to smoke. Excuse me. And then I'll sit the client down, make them a bit scared by telling them how much it's going to hurt, but it doesn't really hurt. And then we'll start tattooing. Advice for newcomers: find a studio that you can guess what. Find a studio you can apprenticeship to. Do a formal apprenticeship. It is a huge ball ache doing an apprenticeship, because you start from the bottom and you do all the crappy work, and oaks will rag you and give you a lot of grief, and make life quite difficult for you. But at the same time, it builds character, as well as it filters out oaks that aren't serious about it. Because unfortunately with tattooing, it is a lifestyle. You can't just be like, because I've heard stories of people locally, they're like, I do this, but part-time I tattoo people, and then they're like super stoked about it, and they're like, oh, this tattoo looks cool, you know, my family tells me that I'm really good, and da, da, da. And you just kind of like, you got to compare yourself and the work that you do to an international standard. You can't just take everything that people say seriously, because people will always be like, yeah, that's amazing, and then you look and you go, it could have been better, or I could have pushed better, I could have done more research, could have spent more time with it, you know. You're your own like biggest critic at the end of the day. Obviously don't beat yourself up about the work that you do, but still at the same time push. You always got to push.